Okay, we're doing Definitely the Experts number 76. We were just having our pre-show chit-chat rundown, and we realized we're just doing the show.
Yeah,
so
if anybody doesn't know that, like, I don't think we've ever said that before on the podcast, but, like, I'd say, like, 90% of the time we're just talking, and, like, one of us just realizes that we are just doing exactly what we do on the podcast.
Yeah, because the way
what are we doing?
Yeah, the way the production meetings for these the quote unquote production meetings for these shows goes, it's, hey, what's up? What do you want to talk about? What's new? It's like, well, this happened. Like, we were just talking about the Fantasy Pros guy. We're like, well, this happened, and wow, that it's like, well, fuck, we're just blowing our takes here for nobody. Well, I guess just for you and I, which. Is that really any different than doing this?
That's a good meta question. But yeah, we were doing the show, so we
now we're actually doing the show. So what up?
Yeah, not a whole lot of super, I guess, in your face stuff. Some stuff today came up, but Sam has a good story.
Yeah, so I've been in the market this summer looking to purchase a kayak, and that has been a real time and a half. Because with the whole pandemic thing going on, all the big box stores, like the market price I'm looking to get in at for a first time one here is just I don't want to spend a ton of money for the first one. So try it out, see how it goes. Yeah. Well, anyways, everybody else beat me to that, and when the pandemic started back in March, I think all the sporting goods stores sold out of all the models in like my price range. So I think the similar things happen with bikes. I know you had some issues, or that it's been well documented. People trying to get like home like workout equipment with dumbbells and all that fun stuff. So anyways, I've been trying to scour Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and all those. And anyways, found one that when I was looking at, I was like, hey, that looks pretty good. Message this guy, hey, I want to check it out. I get a response back, and the guy's like, yep, nope, totally cool. Come on over, let's do it tomorrow. And he signs his email, Preston Smith. I'm like, at first I didn't realize it. Then I had to do a double take. Like, well, wait a minute. Preston Smith is a linebacker for the Packers. So I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow when I go show up. If it's going to be this giant man who's going to come out and be like, hey, you want this little kayak?
Yeah, he's going to be one-handing it.
It's like,
hey, you want this? I need to get rid of it.
Go along. Like, the description was... it used it like once in his pool. Was gonna use it more, but didn't last year. Now I got a real boat, so it's like, well, I don't know. That could be anybody. I believe that he probably would have some disposable income to upgrade to a real boat. So, anyways, he emailed me his number, so I'm gonna dox him right now. His phone number is. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do that. But it had a 920 area code, which is a local Green Bay number, which I don't know, but I feel like Preston Smith, after moving from Washington, wouldn't change his number to a local number here. So it's probably not him, but if it is, we're gonna get a sit down interview, and we're gonna have a Definitely Expert exclusive and get his hot Corona takes.
Yeah, it could be him. Yeah, Steve, ask if you can interview him. I'm sure.
Hey, by the way.
Hey, I'll drop the price. I'll give you $20 more if you let me interview you for 10 minutes.
You know what? I'll drop the price. I'll pay you $50 less, but I can interview you. It's like, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm curious because he said like, yep, Saturday's good. So I want to check. I don't know if you can find anything about the schedule, but what are the Packers doing tomorrow? They it's 28th. Because that'd line up perfectly if they're off, or we could dispel this rumor real quick if they have some sort of activity going on tomorrow, which I have no idea. It's really kind of opaque to find out right now with all that's going on. But so I don't know. That'll be interesting tomorrow. Maybe I'll have a boat tomorrow. So
a boat?
Yeah, a kayak, a plastic boat.
Yeah, a boat without that you have to push yourself on the real quick, I after the Suns, so I don't know if you saw, but the Suns had a crazy Devin Booker had this buzzer beater. It was against the Clippers, actually. He hit it over Paul George and Kawhi, and it was pretty nuts. But in the thread after, I came across a good video that spawned straight out of Reddit. Probably.
Is this the streamable link you sent me?
Yeah, did you click on it?
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. This is. Oh, okay. I got. Oh, I'm like, what's this gorilla doing? That's their mascot is the Phoenix gorilla. This is really good.
For those of you, so I'll just describe the video for you because you can't really watch it because this is a podcast. But yeah, it's this Phoenix Suns gorilla, just like they're flipping it back and forth, like the mirror image and the real image, so it looks like he's kind of dancing, and he has a tube of sunscreen in his hand, and then these pictures are rotating in the middle. It's just like boxes and this sunflower, and text is like. Text is coming up, and then all of a sudden it's a picture of Devin Booker with a 3 in one of his hand, and he's doing the same thing the gorilla's doing, where they're just mirror flipping his image so it looks like he's dancing.
But he's got sunscreen too.
What?
He's got Devin Booker's got sunscreen.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's got sunscreen. He's got 2 tubes. He's double fisted.
Man. And it's just these images of a gorilla and a sun with sunglasses coming up, and Devin Booker with sunglasses, and just text that's
Motown track back in it. Which
that's important too. This funky Motown track, and this like rainbow like stock text of "You lost to the Suns" comes up.
Well, it's just fantastic because on its surface, just it's as a reminder that. The Phoenix Suns mascot is a gorilla.
Yeah.
That's just funny.
On its face.
And now we're doing all this extra fun stuff Man, Reddit's really dumb, and this is the best kind of Reddit content.
It's low class, but it's very funny.
Yeah, what was the one I sent you? I sent you a good one the other day. I don't know what it was. I'm going to try and scroll back in our thread here and figure out what the hell I sent you from Reddit, but... It was like peak Reddit content that I really enjoyed, and it's a ways back probably. Like the other peak. Oh, I think it was maybe it was the Mitch Trubisky one, where someone did all this fancy statistical analysis.
Oh, for 66 degrees.
Yes, and Mitch Trubisky was far and away the best quarterback. Most efficient quarterback.
I remember this because you sent me this, and then they mentioned it on PMT.
Yes.
It was like, oh, I know the stat they're talking about. I know exactly the graph they're talking about. Yes. Yeah, that was a good graph.
Yes. This is so fucking specific.
It's like the definition of creating a conclusion that you want.
Yeah, you manipulate. That is the definition of when you hear people make the argument while you're just taking the numbers and manipulating them to say whatever you want. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's exactly what that was.
Speaking of Reddit content, it's not really from Reddit, but I didn't realize that I hadn't ever showed Isabel the Dear Reader Harry Potter thing.
Oh gosh. Well, she's a Harry Potter fan, right?
I mean, I don't know if she's like a big fan.
Oh,
just likes the movies.
She read all the books.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I did the other day? I keep doing this. Sorry, I'll let you finish in a second. But when I'm talking to the ladies on Tinder and shit, I always, when they say like, "Oh, do you read?" I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of started reading like a year and a half ago. I don't know, off a little bit."
I just learned how to read.
Yeah, no big deal. And they're like, "Oh, have you ever read Harry Potter?" I'm like, "No." I was like, "Oh, you should." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll totally read Harry Potter. Do you have the books? Can I borrow them?"
You want to come over and read Harry Potter?
Yeah, I always say that like half sincerely, like, "Yeah, you know what? I will read Harry Potter." And it's like, what am I saying? I don't want to read fucking Harry Potter.
What am I fucking saying? I mean, I don't know, man. If you've never, I don't know. I'm not gonna go ahead and say that if you've never read them, they're worth doing because frankly, I have read them all, but it was a long time ago. Like it, I'm trying to remember, when did the last book come out? Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows,
Part 2.
the book.
Yeah, the book came
out in 2007. 2007 is the publication date. Yeah, so I don't know. Over 10 years ago, I suppose. I don't know. It's a lot like the Game of Thrones thing, except it's for not. It's I don't know, a little less
like
graphic,
juvenile.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It is a good story, I guess. I don't know. It's really hard for me to separate like Harry Potter movie from like childhood nostalgia. So it's really hard for like it with the Dear Reader thing, like some of the stuff in there. Like it's oh yeah, like Sorcerer's Stone, that was such a long time ago.
So
but I don't really know if like I enjoy it for the fact that it's like a good movie, or I just enjoy it because I watched this movie when I was a kid.
yeah, I don't know. I fall into the camp that I was like a halfway decent movie, and all my friends were excited about it. What I tried doing when I want to say I was in 3rd grade or 4th grade, and the first 2 movies had come out, and was at the public library in Racine back in the hometown. I was like, you know what? I've seen the first 2 movies. I'm just going to pick up the Prisoner of Azkaban and start reading that.
Oh man, that's literally the worst book.
Yeah, I read like a chapter and returned the book. I did
That's
not make
no
it very
good.
far. So,
It's the Goblet of Fire. That's the one you have to read.
oh, with the Triwizard Tournament?
Yeah.
Okay.
And people, I think that's like one of the first ones too where people start dying and stuff.
Oh, they introduced mortality?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, speaking of mortality, well, I guess, was there anything else that you showed? So you showed Isabel Dear Eater, which if any of the listeners haven't seen that video, is an absolutely fantastic shitpost of a video thread.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. Well, I showed her the cribbage match one, the popular one, and then I was like, she was like, that was really funny, and I'm like, but wait, there's more. There's an entire movie actually, and she's like, all right, we don't need to do that. And she said that one of her coworkers, her husband, I guess, made her sit down and watch the entire Dear Reader movie, and she did not appreciate that. So she told Isabel that.
See, that was my biggest fear. It's my last girlfriend, like one of the first movies we sat down and watched. I was like, hey, let's watch this movie. And I put on Roller Town, and I was like, in the moment, I'm like, wait, is this kind of risky? Am I going to scare her off like the 2nd or 3rd time, whatever it was that we were hanging out? I don't think that's what did it. Eventually. But that had the same, I don't know, I had the same thought. I was like, maybe this isn't the safest play here, Sam. And in the same vein as the one you just sent me the other day, which is on, I think, there's a healthy discussion to have, which is a better long form joke in the Harry Potter realm was the Harry Potter, but every wand is a gun.
I like that. I liked that. I haven't watched the entire movie yet, but I want to. It was a very good quality trailer.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's exactly what it says it is, and it's great.
It's Harry Potter, but with guns.
Well,
yeah.
Well, speaking of Harry Potter meme content, has Isabel seen You Are a Wizard, Harry?
I feel like, maybe I thought she had seen Dear Reader, but maybe I showed her the other Harry Potter thing. I'm pretty sure she has because I quote that one all the time, the You Are a Wizard. So I think, and she's definitely said that. So I think that she's seen that one.
Okay.
But I gotta make sure, I guess. I gotta cover all my bases. Maybe she just thought I was being stupid, saying this incorrectly.
No. It's a thing.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, like especially when the Dear Reader thing came up, it was like, oh man, like that was a big thing. Like it was a long time ago now.
Yeah, that's getting up there, and how long ago that was, but
Still quality though, still very
absolutely.
good. Yeah. Well, moving in, do you have anything else to say about Harry Potter?
No, I think that's all my Harry Potter takes and shit posting content that I wanted to get to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we got well, first of all, before we get into there's some nasty stuff with Fantasy Pros here. I just want to say that in between like work and stuff, I've been doing I think I mentioned this last time, but I've been doing mock drafts to pass the time.
Okay.
Oh man. Like
I
the
have.
sleeper mock draft community is like an insular community of all dudes that are doing the exact same fucking thing that I am. It's just passing the time, fucking mock drafts. It's just they'll put up like, all right, it's time, guys. 12 team, half PPR.
So have you gotten to a point where it's like they're all the same now?
I mean slightly. I
There's
mean
like
I
a
switch.
chalk. There's like a meta chalk play that it's just like, well, this is going this way, and it's always almost kind of.
There's been enough news recently to shift like some important stuff around. Like the Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Damian Williams opt-out thing was a pretty big like shift in the meta for a while. But I mean it's varied enough just because I switch my position up a lot in the drafts that we do. Like it's popular for people to just do 12 team half PPR, but there's a fair number. Like every now and then somebody will do like like our league that we're gonna do with the Tundra Tenors. It's like 10 team Superflex, and getting those is kind of fun because the sleeper, like I can't mock with computers in the sleeper thing for our league because they take Pat Mahomes like third overall. And it's like, fuck. Okay, well, so yeah, I don't know their algorithm to do stuff. So every now and then I get some funky mock drafts. Like it's like, oh, here's a 14 team league, whatever, or this thing. It's like, oh, okay, see what I get here and there. It's kind of cool. I don't know. It's cool to go into a draft. Like this is probably the first year ever that it's like, all right, well, I kind of know what to expect, given nobody just like is an asshole and takes like Tavon Austin 8th overall or something.
Yeah, here's the thing though. What you're doing, I think, isn't gonna be interesting to see how well your mock draft experience here applies when we do the Tundra Tenor draft, because you're much more engaged in this than I think. I'm gonna safely guess that anybody else is in this league. So when you're mocking with all these other dudes who are equally as motivated and have their ear to the ground with this stuff, yeah, I'm guessing this draft is going to be wild and crazy compared to what you've been used to seeing here over the last however long you've been doing it.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of why I don't know. I totally understand what you're saying, and I agree that it's, especially with Superflex, that was something I weighed a lot before I even put it in there. It was like, fuck, should I even do this? Like, is anybody even gonna understand what the hell Superflex is? And it's like, well, I don't know. I'm not playing with a bunch of like cavemen. Like, it's pretty easy to just say, all right, you can put quarterback there. So like, but yeah, with the draft, I mean, it is like kind of weird because I understand, like, it's interesting to look at the mock draft when I do it by myself, because it's like, all right, like, this is who Sleeper is recommending. So even if I say, like, all right, you don't need to take a quarterback, like, in the first round, like, Sleeper is already recommending that, and it's like, well, people are going to do it. Or people are just not going to be present for the draft and it's going to auto draft.
Yes.
So it's like, all right, so we're going to get, like, like Russell Wilson taking, like, 9th overall or some shit.
Yeah, what slot? I got a end of the first round slot, right?
Yes, you did. You are 9th.
Okay, out of 10, perfect. I'm gonna do what I was half thinking about doing in our dynasty draft.
Not if I do it first.
Well, you can't because you're not going to. Because I picked twice before you picked twice.
You're taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire and a Patrick
No.
Mahomes.
No, well, I'm doing the super stack quarterback. I'm doing Lamar and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, you are? You're gonna fucking do that?
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure one of those guys will be taken already. I guess I'm not sure, but I would guess that one of those two guys are going to be off the board.
I'm actually really considering taking Pat Mahomes 3rd overall.
Well, all right, never mind. That fucks up my strategy. Then maybe I will.
I don't know. I don't know if I am. I've gone back and forth on it quite a bit because it's like it's kind of what you're saying. Like I don't know how if people are going to try to treat this as like a regular draft or if they're just going to take sleepers recommendations. I think it's too high. I don't want to do that, but I also don't want to get to the end of the second round there and like who's left.
All the quarterback, run on quarterbacks in the first and second.
Yeah, right. Well, I know because it's as soon as somebody takes it, it's going to be like 1 through 8 go off, like Pat Mahomes through Josh Allen. It's like great. I got Drew Brees and all these like perfectly fine quarterbacks, but like
especially in a redraft league.
Yeah. But you just want you want a stud if you can get one. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm looking at right now. It's like I'd really like to take like Alvin Kamara or Ezekiel Elliott there, but I don't know. Somebody might like Finch or Ben might do something wild too. So it's not out of the question.
Number 1 overall.
Right. And if he doesn't, it's like, well, great. Well, I'm definitely taking CMC or Saquon. So whatever. I'll take Josh Allen. But anyway.
So, we were getting into this a little bit before we started for real here, but your guys, the fantasy pros, one of the dudes had a bit of a slip up online.
Oh my god, it was kind of wild because I woke up and so what I do when I wake up is I usually put on a podcast while I'm just like getting ready in the morning and like washing my face and whatever, and it's like a good way to like just start to get engaged, I think. Normally it's like PMT or Fantasy Pros. It's like whatever I'm kind of itching for, I guess. Lately, since like draft season is upon us and I've been really like getting after these drafts, I like to put on like Fantasy Pros just to, they'll go through and they'll do like a half PPR like mock draft or whatever. So I'll put that on and like see who they're taking, and I think I did have Fantasy Pros on, and I was listening to it, and then I checked Reddit, and it was just in big bold letters, Bobby Sylvester is probably done at Fantasy Pros, and I was like, oh, what? Like, I don't know. It was really odd to read. He was like, okay. I opened it up, and like, so it was a Twitter video, and a girl who captioned it with FBI come get your dude or something like that, and I opened it up and it was like a 9-second video, and it's just of Bobby Sylvester like saying some like in a really creepy tone something to the effect of I know you're playing hard to get, but I always win and I always get what I want. Something like that. But it's really odd because it's like in a pretty dark room, like it's a dimly lit room, and in the background it's his Fantasy Pros backdrop that he uses for when they post like stuff to YouTube, and he's also using this like weird fucking Snapchat filter thing like that makes his face look kind of funny. And it's like all these things combined together with this like really odd incel like messaging and video that he sent to this girl at like 1 a.m. It's like, oh my god, like what the fuck is this? So yeah, I don't know. It's disappointing, but I mean, he's been indefinitely suspended, I guess, from the organization, and I expect them to come out and probably fire him because he should be fired for doing this stuff. And there were like in the wake of that too, there was another girl who came out and posted a DM to her from him in her Twitter inbox, and yeah, it's like him just like unsolicited, like sending a message like, hey, I think you're cute. I make a lot of money working as a fantasy analyst, and like
I can make your
something.
fantasies come true.
Yeah, well, kind of, but he came out and just said, I really know my way around a pussy.
Oh no.
Like, just came out and fucking said it, and it was like, wow. And then the girl called him out on it, and it was really funny because his next reply was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that was wrong. It was like, what? This dude is like, I don't know how old he is. I want to say like late 20s, but it's like there's no. In what world did you think that like that line was gonna work? Twitter DM, or just in general, I should say. I shouldn't say like it works in any format because it doesn't.
Yeah, it's just worse when it's written. It's worse when it's written down on paper, or on not paper, but when it's in writing.
Yes,
and it's easily attributable to you.
Right. Yeah, weird shit. So, I don't know. It was kind of weird, like, because I've been listening to a lot of their podcasts lately, and, just weird to see that kind of stuff happen to people that you're listening to for advice and opinions on anything at all. So, yeah, I don't know. That's really all there is to say about that. I still... We'll see what happens here with I really don't want to listen to Fantasy Pros anymore because this shit's pretty gross. But it's like, fuck, man. Who do I?
Well, I don't know if he's not there anymore. Then whatever.
Right, that's true. However, in the wake of it, I was like mulling some options here. It's like, what could I go somewhere else? Could I, spend my time elsewhere? I don't know.
Yeah, have you found another replacement?
I've tried a few other podcasts. I listened to Roto World for a time, but on that one, it's like the host of it is, I don't know what it is. He's just, they're okay, but his intonation, it's really bro-y, and it, like, I don't know. I don't have a really hard and tangible reason to not appreciate it. I think it was also pretty long. Like, their podcasts were much more lengthy, like hour and a half, 2 hour length than podcasts usually. But yeah, I don't know. And it was the stark contrast between this dude who was like a real bro and another dude who was like a fantasy analyst nerd was, I think, too much for me. And then the other one that I tried, I mean, I've tried to go back to it, and I think I did a couple even this quarantine, just when I would totally expend my PMT and Fantasy Pros like reserves. It's like, oh, let's see what the fantasy footballers have to say. And I just can't, I don't know, apparently they're really good at what they do, and I like when those dudes come on as like guests to Fantasy Pros and stuff like that. I'd appreciate what they do. And I guess the dudes on there are like pretty, like, they're up there in the expert consensus rankings for accuracy, like pretty consistently in like the top 20. So they know their stuff, but just like when they all get together, it's just like one big like meme factory, one big like inside joke after inside joke on the pod. Like, oh my god, like it was like every single time, like I listened to it a little bit. I think I really got turned off from it last year because every time they talked about Darren Waller, they had to call him the Walrus and play a sound clip of like a fucking walrus doing whatever it's doing. And I was like, fuck, dude, I just want to hear your opinion about it. I don't know, I guess some people really like that stuff, and I don't. I do not like that stuff.
Well, yeah, if it's done like more craftfully or a little more subtly, or there's a way you can do that and not have it be over the top and have to play the sound clip every time and still make it entertaining.
I think that was really it. Their soundboard usage is just like, it's like used and abused in that podcast. Like,
yeah, it's no good.
Yeah, so I don't know. In any case, we'll see. Just to pass the time.
Yup. well, speaking of the passage of time, it'll be a long time before we're actually going to Lambeau, because the fact was announced the other day here. No fans for the first 2 home games, which means no home game week 2, and then week 4. I think is the Monday night game against Atlanta. So first home game with fans possibly, maybe, isn't until November.
Yep.
Not a surprise, but I am A-okay with that. I've said this before. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to be much more productive and not just park my ass on the couch all weekend and watch football this fall. I'm saying it out loud, and maybe I'll actually do it. I don't plan.
Yep.
I want to go out and be more whatever. Take advantage of the weather being nice while it's still nice. But boy, it's so easy to just sit your ass on the couch and watch football all day Saturday and all day Sunday.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if football happens, it's like I'm absolutely gonna be spending time on the couch just watching football, because it's like it feels like right now I've been watching some NBA. Not a ton of it, but some here and there. I don't know. I've never been like, it's now getting to the playoffs here, technically, with the NBA. So maybe I'll tune in a little bit more frequently, but it's, I don't know, never been something I've been crazy into.
Yeah, I'm the same way with the NBA right now. The most I've watched is the only reason I've watched is I've gotten home from something, or from work or whatever. It's Saturday night or something, and it's like, well, I'm going to eat something and kind of be half doing something else, so I'm folding laundry, so sure, I'll throw this on. I'll throw on the NBA instead of watching The Office. Just have something on.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool. I mean, the whole everybody's been, I think, complimentary of the production from or how it's looked on TV and how it's felt. It's felt pretty normal. I agree with that. The little bit I've watched of it, it seems as normal and not weird as we could possibly make it with what they're doing from production and on the TV side of things.
Yeah. I don't know, man. What do you think about the chances of like the NFL season being able to make it to the end?
Yeah, I'm not confident.
Yeah.
I mean, while baseball's still going on, I thought baseball was going to be canceled by this time this week after the Cardinals, the Marlins, and was there one other team that's had an outbreak of COVID? I mean, they're still making up games and stuff, but I mean, they're trudging along, a couple teams at a time here. But yeah, the way that's been going on the baseball side of things doesn't give me confidence, because the NFL's, we talked about this. It's without going to a bubble model, and with the roster sizes being so much larger than baseball, it really just doesn't feel like a good proposition, a good bet to make that NFL is going to make it through unscathed this season.
Right.
I think they'll certainly start it. They'll give it a go, but I don't know. I think first things first, you got to make it through the preseason, or not even preseason, just through training camp. Get to the first game, which should be possible, but I'm not even that's even not a guarantee.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I really think it's hard to say that, like, when I was listening to PMT and hearing them talk about it, I mean, they put it in a very, like, you know, they describe the situation as almost like a dichotomy with Roger Goodell at the helm. Like, you see what's happening with the Major League Baseball and the NBA, and you see that one is clearly working better than the other, so there's your information. And it's like, well, I want to, like, get on this train that this is the case, but I mean, I don't think it really is, right? Like, I think it's like, obviously the bubble works better, duh. Like, of course, isolating everybody and ensuring that everybody tested negative, and then keeping them all in a place and forbidding them to, you know, allow anybody into the place while keeping them from going outside of it, is going to be a lot more effective than using the honor system with a bunch of professional athletes. Like, of course, like that's going to be more effective. But I guess it'll be interesting to see what kinds of measures are taken, because it really does feel like almost this is like a bit of it. You could compare it almost to the United States right now, like as a whole country. Like it doesn't really feel like the NFL is mandating a ton of things, and they're ultimately leaving a lot of these decisions up to like the team level almost. Because like we saw a thing come out with the Saints where they have this like optional like quarantine thing, and these other teams are like, oh, we've erected these tents for our players to work out in, and we're just kind of doing this. I guess it'll be interesting as things get more and more down to the wire to see what exactly, like when teams play each other, for example, like what we're doing here, like what the protocol is. Because it's too late to really like install any sort of like bubble. It is almost at this point, it's like you just have to like hope the players are isolating themselves from family and whatever. Like it's kind of just where it's at. It's already on that road.
Yeah, I don't know. They're too late now to really do anything worthwhile to reverse course or switch to a bubble format. It's not going to happen. I think it's logistically just a nightmare to do this close to the start of the season with just about a month out. But at the end of the day, these are still professional athletes, so you can maybe put some accountability on the players, whereas opposed to in college football, like we were talking about last week with all these amateur guys that are, and even larger rosters and younger dudes that are whatever, may or may not be taking the whole thing as seriously. I don't know. All the schedules came out this week, or the Big Ten schedule came out at least. I mean, looking at it, it was like, all right, we're gonna give it a go. We're gonna try it. There's a bunch of weeks built into there where you can shuffle things around, shuffle games around as needed if you need to push something back. But whatever. I guess if we're gonna, I was saying this to you earlier this week that I'm willing to suspend reality and just be like, well, all right, let's look at it. Let's go game by game. Yup, win for Wisconsin. Yup, win for Wisconsin. Yup, we're gonna go worst case scenario 8-2 and still be going to Indy to get their ass kicked by Ohio State. Let's go. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, looking at the oh my god, like I looked at the schedule and it was like, yup, yeah, don't have to play Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State.
Do you have to play Michigan?
We have to play Michigan, but not Michigan State.
That's a winnable game. Iowa, okay, fine. Minnesota, they're not bad.
Yeah.
And then just don't lose a fluky game to Northwestern. Oh yeah, where is that game? Is that game at Northwestern or is it Madison?
I didn't even look, honestly. Let me look. It's in Evanston. Uh-oh.
No, never mind. That's an L.
Oh, man.
Where's the Illinois game? State of Illinois gives us trouble sometimes.
Illinois. It's in Camp Randall.
All right. I think I can pencil in a W there.
I mean, it might be fun to get this. I mean, the first home game is supposed to be in less than a month here, so I mean, we'll see. It might be fun just to watch one game at least before the season gets completely canceled.
Well, that's another way to look at it, is if we think this is all just a terrible mistake and a thing, and this is never going to work, well, I guess you can just enjoy what you do get, expect nothing, and be pleasantly surprised when you get anything.
Yeah. It was kind of...
If we go 2-0 and the season gets canceled, we can make a claim at a national title and do all that silliness. And
yeah. 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 I don't know. All the stuff started coming out this week of all the like top tier like skill position players have started to opt out of college. Like what is it? The Minnesota wide receiver.
Rashad Bateman?
Yeah, he opted out. The Purdue defensive back, I forgot his name.
I don't know him.
He opted out. Let me see. Purdue. Rondale Moore. Yeah, Rondale Moore. He opted out. He's supposed to be, I guess, a first or second round pick. That made me think it was like, I was actually thinking about this. I was going to send you this. It was like, if this would have happened last year, man, that'd have been so sad. Because right now it's like, you know what? We're restarting the wheel here in terms of Wisconsin running backs. Like we just, we pushed out Jonathan Taylor, who just went in the second round to the Colts in the draft. We finished an excellent tenure here at Wisconsin. And Quintez Cephas, who is like one of the best wide receivers we've had in a little while. He was also going to the draft. So looking at our team, it's like, okay, well.
Yeah, like maybe, I don't think Quintez, if this was last year, I don't think he opts out just because he was coming back from his off-the-field thing. His issues were his legal battle, so he's getting reinstated. So that was the first time he played in a couple of years, so I think he had so much to gain by playing last year.
Right.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, yeah, if this is last year, I don't know. Yeah, do you sit out? Maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think absolutely. Like, I think a lot of those players, as things get a little closer here, it's like, yeah, well, I mean, why would you? Like,
yeah, Tua probably sits out. I don't know about Joe Burrow because he wasn't what he is now, or he wasn't, at least the perception of him wasn't a number one overall pick. He was, I think there was one of the draft experts a while back talking about him. I don't think he was like, well, he went from when he first started at LSU year before last to being, I don't know, maybe a day 3 pick to maybe undrafted, and then shot all the way up to number 1 overall.
Yeah. Super crazy, right? Like trajectory.
Whereas, as opposed to Tua, where he came in and like from the first time he played meaningful snaps in that national championship game that he won, I was like, oh well, yeah, this guy's a top overall pick.
Yeah, right. Top 10 for sure. Right from the time that we first saw him come in for Jalen Hurts.
Yes. And then all he did was improve upon that.
Yes.
And get hurt, but.
Right, and yeah, suffer a pretty serious injury. Yeah, so I don't know. We're still a little ways away, I guess, from college football season, but
it's coming up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, we've already talked about this like kind of peripherally, but like really now that this is like taking shape and like the actual prospect of like we may not, I mean, if things like really like devolve in the next couple days, it's kind of looking like with this conference only system for most Power 5 conferences at this point, I think it's all of them. I don't know how many games we'll be able to squeeze out of doing that, but like, man, I'm just thinking of like you're saying it with like Joe Burrow and stuff, him having a historical season. It's like, what in the world are we going to get out of this crop of athletes for like the next level? Like, there's obviously some dudes who are opting out right now because they're already like, they have the talent and it's there, and so they can do that. But that's like, 10 people. Or this list of people is more than 10 people, but like there's like 25 people on here.
Yeah,
but
it's a bunch of first round dudes, and then after that it's just a kind of a hodgepodge of, I don't know. It's gonna be, this is gonna be so interesting, and assuming we get through this and this kind of all goes away, the whole coronavirus goes away here at some point in the next 6 to 12 months, when 2021 comes around, we're quote unquote back to normal, whatever that is. Just what the hodgepodge of coming out of that looks like, because then you got teams this year with guys they drafted, the rookies. I don't know how many rookies opted out, but it seemed like there's a lot of undrafted guys. But nonetheless, I mean, you got all those guys that are potentially coming back into the fray with the actual rookies that are drafted in 2021. So, I mean, and that's everywhere. That's across the board. That goes, not just sports and football, but that's, we talked about this a while back, but what happens in 2020, in fall 2021, when you have just at the university there, you have a double freshman class because you have all the people that opted out of going in their freshman year this year that just took online classes or did gen eds at their local tech school or whatever, and now they're coming on campus. They want to live in the dorms, or how's that all going to work? So you have, like, socially speaking, a double freshman class.
Right.
There's so many permutations. I mean, this thing's going to trickle out and touch so many different aspects of life and society and all that shit. So
it's weird, man, like thinking about the ripple effect of what's going to happen just because this year is going to be so fucked. Like, it really is odd, like, thinking about, I mean, I think I was talking to my aunt on the phone, and she was just talking about how, like, I mean, K through 12 even, like, that whole thing is, like, super fucked up. Like, parents who are, like, working or trying to work from home, or maybe they can't work from homes, and it's like, what do they do? Like, is, like, I don't know. Kids are just at home, like, maybe learning, maybe not. Like, okay, and then, you know, that obviously affects, like, high school, like, you know, and I guess we can just, like, instead of getting into a deep dive on this, just talk about it from, like, a sports angle. Like, how do you, I mean, I think states have already banned, like, a lot of high school football from happening at this point. Like, schools are almost, like, not even having in-person class. Like, I know the Madison area, I think, is all virtual until like November 8th, and then they're going to reassess.
I know my sister's school, she's starting working this fall. They're taking it week by week, starting virtual, and then every Friday, I guess they're going to try and, you know, ask, all right, well, now what? What do you want to do next week?
Well, now what? Yeah, your sister's starting a job as a music teacher at a really pristine time.
Yeah, she was saying that. I'm like, well, what are you doing? She's like, well, it's just gonna be one-on-one lessons. That's it. No ensemble, which makes sense because I don't know how the hell you would do that. So
right, I have no idea how you could possibly do that.
You can't. You know, maybe, I don't know if she's gonna try and do something where it's like she can have all the kids record themselves and then stitch something together. That way, maybe. Doesn't sound like it, but yeah, she's just gonna be working one-on-one with all these kids.
Yeah, I mean, right. I don't know what else you do. I was kind of asking. O'Shea visited Madison a couple weeks ago, and he's a music teacher in Charlotte. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you even lesson plan? And I mean, that's, I guess, what he was kind of doing because he was teaching last spring when it shifted, and it was basically just like, yeah, video assignments and, you know, Skype and, like, do what you can. Basically, yeah, an online music teacher. Just, you know, here's a set of assignments that you need to do, and I mean, I think at a certain point it was just like, I think he just, like, tailored it off almost, where it was like, it's not even like lessons at a point. It's just like, all right, guys, just, like, read this, or
here's a theory thing. Here's a theory worksheet, or
right, here's a music history assignment. Right. So,
you know, listen to my mixtape.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess that kind of, speaking of music, we talked about the Packer home game, I think, being canceled all the way up until November, potentially. So for Tundraline, that means that we're probably not getting out there until,
I wouldn't think so,
November. And yeah, I think we were starting to talk about this at the beginning of the show, but I didn't mention this. It was, I was feeling kind of sad about it up until today. I saw an Instagram video of, like, Cold Steel Drumline just, like, doing something, but the caption said, like, now imagine us doing this but 6 feet apart, and it was just them, like, in a big line, because Cold Steel Drumline is just like it's like a pretty big, like, ensemble. They're like a historically black.
Oh, they're not a team affiliated one in the NFL.
No, they're not an NFL drumline.
Gotcha.
But I don't know if they're affiliated with a specific school. Oh, they're percussion section of the NC A&T State University Band. Okay, North Carolina A&T. So anyway, it is a university band, but yeah, they're like a pretty big ensemble, and so I was looking at it, and it was like, oh yeah, we couldn't really do that. Like it all like came to me in one moment, like trying to visualize Tundra Line with like everybody staying like 6 feet apart, and it was like, yeah, it could happen, but we would encompass like a giant area. Like we would be like I don't even think we'd be able to like do in the lot stuff. Like we'd have to set up drums on like a stand and like in the parking lot and just like play a set and then go home.
Well, and then the thing is, we can do all that, sure, fine, but the what's going to happen is people are going to come around and form a crowd.
Right, that too. That's no good.
I think that's probably a liability. That's
right.
Probably a bad look for the Packers to have their sanctioned entertainment group out there. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hey, everybody, come packing close and check this shit out.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, right. That obviously wouldn't fly at all. Yeah. In the same moment, it was kind of like, is this even fun? Like, would I have fun doing this, or like the entire time would I just be anxious about, like people coming up to me, or like just being a part of like having to shove drums in that tiny little room? Like obviously we can't all just like do things the way we did, like all 30 of us just getting in this tiny little baby room and like doing like unloading drums and stuff. It's like, oh fuck, yeah, I don't know. Like there's a lot of parts of this that I don't think would work very
speaking
well.
of unsettling things, I forgot to mention this, but so on Tuesday I went out to Kakana, and there's a racetrack out there, and I went to, they were having a big event, and they had a couple big name NASCAR guys there that were racing in this short track deal. So I was like, oh, okay, it's Tuesday night. It's not that far away. I'll go check it out. So I get there. I'm coming down the road, about to pull in. It's like a half hour before the thing starts. Like, all right, get here. I'll just find a spot in the grandstands, kind of away from everybody else. I get there. It's like, oh, shit. Oh, this place is like fucking full.
Oh.
Oh, no. This is more people than I thought would be here on a Tuesday night. So I get in there, I park, I go in, got whatever, go in, get my ticket, and then I'm like, okay, let's find us like a thin out spot in the grandstands. Let's just get away from the fucking concession area. I'm looking, it's like, well, fuck, there's nowhere to sit here other than this. I want to sit in the front row, which I don't really want to do because I can't see shit. So I just kind of kept walking, and then got this like hill on like the turn one, and then over by turn one and turn two is just a big grass hill, and people like set up lawn chairs. It's like, oh, cool. I'll just go hang out over there and kind of find a space on the grass and just kind of do that. So I didn't end up actually going on the grass. I just kind of stood the whole time and just kind of stood in the back and kind of looked down and had a decent view the whole night. But I would have liked to have sat. But I don't know. It was all right. I kept my distance from everybody, so it was okay. But there's like when people are walking by, it's like, ugh. Move. Don't walk so fucking close to me.
Move.
So I don't know. That was weird.
Yikes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. A lot of weird things going on. Wedding season.
Yeah, we got a wedding coming up.
Yeah. I actually just told Brutus the other day that I'm going to the ceremony, but I'm skipping the reception.
You're boogieing out of there?
Yep. Talked to my sister, and I think I'll probably end up doing the same thing at hers, but my sister said that she has like 100 people that are still planning on showing up and showing out, and so I said, yikes. At least Brutus is I talked to him and he said that there was he said that there's a lot of people that said they aren't going, first of all, but that whole first part, the ceremony is going to be outside, and then he was like, we're also making it so you're like, you can use the outdoor patio area if you want to eat your food out there.
Yeah.
So like will be able to do that, and I was like, oh, that's good. Still don't think I can do it though. I think I gotta hedge my bets here. So
yeah, I don't know. I'll hang out and whatever and see what ends up happening. I think my plan is I'm just gonna go home at some point that night. I'm not gonna stay overnight anymore and get too crazy.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not that. Which is a shame. I mean, I was talking to actually Loin about this because we were like, I mean, he obviously, I mean, Loin, the way that Loin is like, I mean, he's like, man, I don't even think I'm gonna get drunk. Wow. He's like, yeah, that is a shame,
all right,
isn't it?
Alec.
We'll see. But yeah, I mean, it does suck, and it's like first of all, I mean, I talked to my sister about it, and I guess it's like there's financial decisions that are being made, and obviously it's not my wedding, so it's not none of these people. It's like should be asking my opinion on whether or not this should be going on. But I guess there's a lot of, because there isn't like a shutdown happening right now, all these companies can technically, and they've been starved for some business with the shutdown that did happen in like May. So now it's all the responsibility for paying for these things kind of gets forced on the wedding people, the people who are getting married, because these businesses can technically still host these events. So if they want to postpone it, it's like there's these like crazy cancellation fees or penalties or what have you. And then that's the case for like every single part of the wedding, like the venue, the caterers, the photographer, like all these people are just like, there's these huge penalties that you're incurring if you want to move any of these things. So then you couple them all together and it's like, all right, you could easily like lose out on like thousands of dollars just to like postpone it again.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Which sucks a ton. I mean, it's like super shitty.
Yeah, that's rock and a hard place. Do I want to forfeit all that deposit money and all that shit, or suck it up and then, I don't know, maybe people get sick?
Yeah, not. Right.
That's a lose-lose proposition, but
100%. So, yeah, we'll let everybody know how that goes. It'll be it'll probably be fun. It'll be good to see people, whoever's there.
Yes. Yeah, I know Tommy and Venetia will be there.
Okay.
They said they were going. I know Melanie was still trying to figure out what the hell she was going to do.
I mean, she's not anymore.
Okay. Yeah, it's not surprising. That's a long way to fly all the way from Colorado for there's a lot of risk. Seems like there's involved with that.
Yeah. I was talking to her the other day because I was asking her about Surface Pen. And then wedding came up. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was like, she seemed like she didn't want to go, and it was like, well, you shouldn't if you don't want to. And it's like, if any of us like get to the wedding and it's like, I don't know, like pretty much all of us can hop in the car and like get out of there and like tell Brutus like, hey man, listen, this sucks. I feel bad, but
sucks. Fuck you. I'm leaving.
This is all very boring. I'm bored, so I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's like basically any of us can just like get out of there if we really want to. Like you really can't. You have to obviously like get a flight, which maybe you can get one really easy, but it's like it's you have to invest more and plan more and with what you're doing, I guess. So it's like I don't know. If you don't want to do it, then like you shouldn't.
Yeah, no one's gonna hold that against you.
No, absolutely not. Man, it just made me think though. Is like, gosh, like Tommy's wedding is gonna be lit as fuck.
Oh, yeah, when we come out on the other side of this next year.
Yeah, man, get a hotel room for 2 days for that one.
Yeah, I
anyway.
think that was definitely, without speaking to whatever Ryan and Brittany's situation was with the venue and all that shit, but yeah, moving it to Tommy postponing it next year has definitely seemed like the right play.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm sure it was really shitty at the time for them to like postpone it that far, but like it ended up. Yeah, I mean I think they kind of came upon a pretty fortunate circumstance given like how far everything's gotten pushed back now.
Yeah,
like next September or whatever.
When Ryan and Brittany, when that came out that they're pushing it back to the end of August, we're like, oh, end of August, all right, whatever, that's cool. Like everything will be fine by then, and it's not.
It's worse.
It's worse.
It'd have been better to have it in May.
Yeah, 3-4 months I thought would have been enough, but alas, it wasn't. Here we are. So
turns out it's not. Yeah, so I don't know. Nobody could have expected that or predicted it, obviously, because otherwise they wouldn't have postponed it there. So in any case, yeah, we're gonna get through to the other side and have so I guess what I was gonna say before, it was like what Loin was saying, it was like, man, it'd be like, I wish like all these people, like I'm sure at this point like they're gonna get through. Like I know when I talked to Brutus, he was like, man, you could hear in his voice he's just tired. It's like, this dude is just tired. He doesn't want to deal with any of these things anymore. So probably not them, but like it's like, man, like it's a shame like all these people are like not going to these things. Like they should really just like schedule like basically like a party and just like invite all these people back for basically the reception part. Like,
yeah, hey, we're renting the back room at this bar restaurant place. Fade us like $20 to $30 and just show up and let's get fucked up.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was like, I think I said that to, I forgot who, but it was like, yeah, I don't know, like people would definitely show up for like if Brutus and Brittany were like, hey, we rented this space, like if you all could like if we can crowdfund like $10 or $20 from everybody, like we'll get it so that there's free beer for the night and
get some apps or whatever, snacks out, whatever. We'll just have the 1 year anniversary reception.
Yeah, like I would go to that. I'd pay money for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we'll see. I'm sure it's like I say that, but it's like I also haven't been like trying to plan a stressful wedding in the middle of a pandemic.
Well,
it's
yeah,
like,
no, that's easier said than done.
Yeah. So, in any case, well, is that it?
Oh, last thing, Ryan Day and Jim Harbaugh got into a little bit of a spat on the Big Ten coaches call or something. You hear about that?
No.
Jim Harbaugh was cut off. Ryan Day was saying something. Jim Harbaugh cut him off. Was like, hey, what? I don't know. You guys were breaking some NCAA rule because some coach was working with the players before they were allowed to. And Ryan Day chirps back, "Oh, fuck you! Worry about your own damn team." And then some audio came out that Ryan Day was talking to the Ohio State players and was like, "Oh, they better hope that Michigan better hope for a mercy rule because we're gonna hang 100 on them." Everybody was getting real into that whole saga or storyline, and I'm just like, this is a complete non-story. it's noteworthy because it like leaked and got out, and I don't know if the audio came out of all that stuff, but people were like, "Oh man, they really hate each other." It's like, well, yeah, no shit. This is also just like, yeah, Ryan Day saying to the team, "Hey, we're gonna hang 100 on them." Like that is. I've been on teams that have gone 0-9 in high school football, and we've said that. I've heard that exact same speech. We better hope for a mercy rule on Friday night because we're gonna hang 100 on them. It's like, man, we haven't beat anybody this year, let alone blown anybody out. That's just football coach hype 101. So like, making that rivalry more than it already is. I mean, it's a big rivalry to begin with. Yeah, this is such a, like, okay, whatever. Yeah, football coach said a football thing. Yawn. I also just finished watching the latest season of Last Chance U.
You watched it?
Yeah, with the guy with the Oakland team.
Okay.
It's different. It's like, because the coach is actually, like, not an asshole. He's still, like, old school and, like, gets on dudes and yelling at them and stuff, but it's like very much it doesn't seem malicious or like way over the top like all the other, like the last two guys.
Okay.
The UCC guy and the independent.
Maybe I'll check it out. I was hearing that it wasn't very good, but maybe it's people just don't think it's very good because the person isn't a total fucking psychopath for a change. Yeah. They actually are like a composed individual.
I thought it was super interesting to me because this college is in Oakland, is in downtown Oakland. They're like, yeah, we don't have dorms, so all the players gotta live wherever and figure it out and then show up. So like dudes are driving like commuting 2.5 hours from way out, like in I don't know, hours west of Oakland, driving in every day and then showing up and then to go to school and go to practice.
Damn.
Going back and doing it. It's like, and one guy's like, yeah, I'm sleeping in my car, I'm couch surfing, go to practice, I'm trying to go D1, but then I gotta go work at Wingstop from like 8 to midnight every night. So it's like completely different than the completely opposite end of the spectrum from like Scuba, Mississippi and Independence, Kansas, where these are isolated communities in the very small towns in the middle of nowhere.
That's actually what I was gonna say, and I haven't been keeping up with it a whole lot, but it seemed like the city, like the community college being like in a very much metropolitan place, seemed like a departure from what they've been doing.
Yes. Yeah. So like a lot of those, like some of the dudes that are falling around and what they're doing just to make it work is like tons of respect to these dudes that are going through, like it's shitty it's a pain in the ass just to show up. It's so much effort and work to make that commute happen and to work, if you have a job in addition to going to school full time, whatever, it's community college, but still go to class and then go to football practice, and to make this, to keep the dream alive.
Yeah. Damn. I'll have to check it out.
So yeah, like the dude, like the players, like they didn't seem like none of them were total fuck ups. Like I don't know, some dudes in past seasons.
Yeah.
And I think like the one different thing, I don't think any of these guys were cast offs from like D1 programs already. It wasn't, hey, this guy went to Florida State and punched a woman in a bar and now he's here. I think these are dudes that's like, yeah, I don't know, I didn't get any D1 offers, so I'm going here and trying to use this as a springboard to get to D1. But I'm not a D1 reject for whatever reason. So that's a little different too.
Okay. Well, not related to Last Chance U, but do you know the last time Michigan beat Ohio State?
Was it 6 years ago?
More.
Oh, wait. I'm thinking Jim Harbaugh. 2007.
2011.
Oh. Sorry, that's Harbaugh was just 0-5. But
yep.
They haven't beat them. So they're going on 10 years.
It was led by Denard Robinson's 5 touchdowns when they
Is
won.
that one of the years that Ohio State was really bad?
Were they really bad in 2011?
There's a couple lean years there, right before Urban Meyer showed up. When it was Luke Fickell was the head coach, right?
2011 Ohio State football. Oh yeah, Luke Fickell. Oh goodness, 6-7 that year.
Yeah.
Oh no. Who did they lose to? Oh, who did? Let's see this. Who's the draft class out of here? Yikes! No first round picks.
Because that was Luke Fickell's first season, or his interim coach. That's after Jim Tressel was let go after Tattoo Gate.
They lost to Miami, Michigan State, Nebraska, Purdue, Penn State, Michigan, and then Florida again. Or sorry, Florida, not Miami. Beat Wisconsin.
Yep, I remember that one.
Oh, Mike Vrabel is the defensive linebacker coach there.
How about that? Okay, I guess maybe it wasn't lean years. Maybe it was just a lean year, singular, because Urban Meyer shows up the next year. They go undefeated, but they're ineligible for the postseason, which gave us the gem of that Big Ten championship game against Nebraska.
Yes.
Yeah, I was looking at the box score the other day after they brought it up on PNC last week.
Oh, man.
That's really something to behold.
I didn't look it up. I thought about it when they were talking to was that Will Compton?
Yes, linebacker for Nebraska.
Because I mean, when they started bringing up like Melvin Gordon went for like 240 yards on like 8 carries or something, it was
I will tell you exactly what it was. Melvin Gordon had 9 carries, 216 yards, 1 touchdown. He was leading rusher. Monte Ball, 21 carries, 202 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Oh my goodness.
James White, 15 carries, 109 yards, 4 touchdowns.
James White. Oh my god.
And these passing stats. Kirk Phillips, 6 of 8, 71 yards. Jared Abbrederis, 1 for 1, 27 yards.
Oh, dude, Quincy Enunwa was on that team?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Remember when Amir Abdullah was, like, contending with Melvin Gordon?
Yeah, those are the top 2 backs coming out of that draft.
My goodness, what a time that was.
Rex Burkhead.
Oh, my God, Rex Burkhead was on this team.
Mm-hmm.
He threw a pass. Wow. I had no idea. Wow. Who else was on this fucking team?
Stanley Jean
Cameron
Baptiste.
Meredith. Remember Cameron Meredith? He was good for like a year in Chicago.
Him. Oh, wait, the receiver.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some of
Remember
these
Pat Muldoon?
Yeah, I do.
Tyler Dipple?
I don't remember that guy.
I just remember that name. Brett Maher, he's a kicker.
Oh yeah, I remember Brett Maher.
Played for the Cowboys for a little bit.
And he still plays for the Cowboys, doesn't he?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, he's a Jets.
Well, anyways, that's read a box score and list a bunch of players that we saw in person one time.
Yeah, this is. I like this. I like this segment. We do this every now and then. This is a good pastime to just look at all these dudes and either reminisce or realize like what we just did. You're like, oh, Rex Burkhead played on this team, and that's something. He's a running back in the NFL.
Yeah, fuck, man, the running backs in that game. I mean, you have the 3 from Wisconsin: Monty Ball, James White, Melvin Gordon, and then Amir Abdullah, who I don't know, he was okay with the Lions for a little bit, and then Rex Burkhead, who's had a nice career. That's 5 NFL players. That's a heck of a backfield game.
Yeah. I mean,
one team first of all, and then not 2 big guys that aren't bad on the other side.
Yeah, and I mean, like totally like Right, like too, like in this game, like I don't know what Nebraska's 2012 like roster was really like looking like, or what became of the people from there. Um, but kind of cool, like it was kind of cool listening to that interview specifically with Will Compton, just to see. It was like, obviously it was cool from the perspective of like you got to see the dude who was able to come out on the other side of being an undrafted free agent and see something after, you know, having to work so hard. But also cool because it was like, oh yeah, this dude was a part of like a moment that like I was there for that. I watched this happen.
You there?
I watched you whiff on a tackle to Melvin Gordon, but I didn't know it was you.
and then all but 2 years later, you get to experience the other side of the coin. 59-0.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I think we've already done a breakdown of that roster.
Yeah.
That whole fucking Ohio State roster is just silly. Fucking dumb how good it is. It's like people talk about could Alabama beat the Cincinnati Bengals, and
What could the 2014 Ohio State Buckeyes beat whoever's the worst team in the NFL that year?
yeah, I mean like no, but like certainly
But could they?
maybe, I don't know, like right, a lot of these fucking dudes. Anyway, all right, well, before we get into too much of that, I think we can call it there.
Yep.
All right, well, like, share, subscribe. We're getting close here. I will almost have an actual thing of content here with our fantasy football draft coming up in a couple weeks here.
All right, stay tuned for that.
But until then, we'll